Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magical Book Club. Today I'm here to read a novel which is called The Science of Breakable Things. So I'm going to start reading this novel back from assignments 10, page 58 on the end of the page. So I'm going to start. Well, I'd love for you to do the egg drop, he said, but whatever it is, you need to pick something by Friday. If you're having any trouble, I suggest starting back at the scientific process. Use your Wondering's journal to plumb the depths of thinking, to observe and question the world. He winked, so I knew Mr. Neely was back to being weird old Mr. Neely, and not one of those teachers who examined their students. Okay, will do, I said, but that sounded kind of rude, so I added, thanks for the suggestion. He grinned like I'd just thrown a parade in his honor. You're so very welcome, Natalie. And how do you even respond to that? I smiled and laughed. Everyone else had left by then too, rushing off to see scary movies or pass out candies or go trick-or-treating or whatever they happened to have planned for Halloween. The hallway was practically deserted, all except for Derry, that is, who was sitting by the lockers. He was reading a textbook, Advanced something. He was also dressed as a giant potato. He looked up when he saw me leaving Mr. Neely's classroom and shift in his homemade potato. It crinkled as if it stuffed with old newspapers. The costume practically swallowed him up, and his head looked tiny compared to the horror that took up his midsection. He stood up as I passed, and his costume shifted from side to side, throwing him off balance, so he wobbled up little. What were you guys talking about? He asked, speaking even faster than usual, as if he was concerned or jealous. Oh, just Mr. Neely stuff. I wondered if I should ask about the potato, or if I should wait for him to bring it up, or if maybe we shouldn't acknowledge it at all. But Derry looked at me like I was the one being weird, like he was waiting for me to finish my sentence. Well, just Derry kept waiting, and I realized there wasn't a non-awkward way to get out of this. We talked about the joys of science. I did my best Mr. Neely impression, clasping my hands together while making my eyes go big and emphasizing every single word. That made Siri smile. He does try. He's a smart guy and he cares. I'd never heard a kid talk about a teacher that way. The words seemed to be too friendly. Derry seemed too friendly. We'd never actually spoken before, but here we are chatting away while he stood there in a potato. The weird part, I was kind of enjoying it. He had a boring job before he switched to teaching, so he's just excited to be here, he said. I nodded as if I already known that factoid. It made sense. Mr. Neely didn't look young enough to be a new teacher, but he wasn't old either. But the way Derry talked about Mr. Neely was strange, like they were actually friends. I changed the subject. Why are you still at school? Derry raised his textbook as if that answered my question. Advanced algebra. Well, yeah, but why are you still here? Nobody stays late after school, I wanted to add, especially not on Halloween, especially not while they're wearing a potato. But I didn't. I felt like I'd missed the opportunity to say something about the costume, and if I said something now, it would seem like I was making fun of him. Derry shrugged, pressing his bony shoulders all the way up to his ears. The potato crinkled and bobbed. My parents work late. They can't pick me up until 7. Oh, but when they come, we are going to take a haunted hayride. It's going to be fun. I like the way he spoke, all crisp and sharp. We carried he carried the smallest trace of an accent, and his words sounded like they were walking along the countryside, up and down and up and down the hills. And then I felt guilty for being so aware of his Indianness, like I was judging him, even though I wasn't. So I said, since he was the one who brought up Halloween, the potato, is it weird? He didn't sound defensive or self-conscious. He sounded like he was asking a scientific question, and I wanted to investigate. I said, wanting to be nice but not wanting to lie. I guess I assumed you'd dress up as in autumn or an equation or something. Dairy laughed. When I looked closer at the potato, I realized that what I thought were random squiggles, potato eyes or globs of dirt or something, were actually small drawings. A pair of lips, an ear, what I assumed was probably a nose. It's mixed up Mr. Potato Hat, he explained, with a whole lot of pride in his voice and no embarrassment at all. It was my older brother's when he was in middle school. I helped him make it for costume contests. See, I drew the mustache. He pointed to a squiggly black line near his hip. Oh, I said, I couldn't help but think about how much Twig would have loved a mixed-up Mr. Potato Hat costume and all its weirdness, and I made a mental note to tell her when she got back. Theory kept going. We forgot about the costume, but we found it when we moved to America a few years ago. I think it makes my parents happy to see me wearing it. It brings them back, you know? I try to imagine myself dressed up as a cobalt's blue orchid. If Mom saw a costume like that, would it make a difference? Would it bring her back? So seeing you as a potato makes them happy, Derry shrugged. The potato crinkled again. I think just seeing the potato itself, it reminds them how happy we all were, how happy we all were when we made it. Oh, I said again. Well, I like it, Derry smiled, and I smiled back, and there was a long silence where neither of us had anything else to say. I shifted my backpack on my shoulders. Well, I better go, since, I'm not a weirdo who hangs around in a potato after school. He laughed as if I made a joke. And I guess I had. So I'm done reading till the end of assignment 10. I hope you're enjoying with me and see you later. Bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.